Greetings everyone, this is Force Nature of Top Tier Tips, and I welcome you to your prime spot for tips and tricks to help you level up at Dead or Alive 6. Alright, in this session, I'm just going to show you the new update 1.12 that just dropped for Dead or Alive 6 on all platforms. Alright, so right now there's an option to be able to check the update by just pushing in R3. Alright, so Team Ninja added some sexy bunny revival costumes, so they're going to be bringing back some like DLC from, I think, from Dead or Alive 5 or previous DOA. So the first set is down for people that kind of like fancy the girls in some cute bunny costumes, so I mean you can get your fill there. Alright, so now let's scroll down some other stuff. So as you can see, this is update version 1.12. So they added an option to select your character costume during ranked matches, so you press either square, triangle, or R2. And as you can guess, yes, I'm playing on the PS4. Alright, there will be a sound depending on the button used, so that's actually pretty cool though, so you can mess or change your costumes more freely in ranked match. Alright, during text chat, they added an option to be able to kind of use, well, kind of like notation, such as, let's say if you do bracket, bracket, P, bracket, bracket, you can get the P button, bracket, bracket, 236, or quarter circle forward, so you get that icon. Bracket, bracket 4, which is 4 is back, if you know like numeric notation. Then you have bracket, bracket 4, underscore, bracket, bracket, then you can get like 4 hold, which means like hold down input. So it's kind of cool though that you could use that to be able to kind of elaborate or describe some kind of like notation based things during text chat, like if you're like explaining tech or moves. So that's actually a pretty cool addition. Alright, so added product icons in the wardrobe, so you get some like pretty pictures. And right here they have unified the main menu results display command by pressing R1. For instance, I'll just go back, R1, then you see it scrolls through like today's results and stuff like that. Then you just keep going through until it comes off. That's pretty cool. Alright, and continuing on, added a link to the PlayStation Store to the main menu. You can see that down there, although you can still get to it by pressing triangle. Let's see, they added an option to display update information by pressing R3. Like so. So that's pretty neat if you want to recheck, because there's quite a bit of, as you can see, there's quite a bit of update stuff right here, so it's pretty cool that they show us the notes. Oh, what is this we have here? Added recent disconnection rate to Ragnarok. Uh-oh. For all you bad boys that like to rage quit or leave the match early, you can now get a bit of a warning that you either have like a medium disconnection rate or like a high disconnection rate. So for people, I'm telling you, it's just online. Don't rage quit. Like, just play through the match. If you have troubles with your internet once in a while, that's like kind of okay, but just don't rage quit. It's not cool. It's not cool for like anything, for anyone. Alright, and let's see what else we got here. Add an option to close lobby match participant display 02. Okay, so more functionality, and corrected various bugs and issues. So Team Ninja put in that work. Oh, okay, so it's kind of cool that they have like all this and stuff like this. Oh, and also I'm gonna be giving you right now like one or two or like a couple tips or whatever for basically every character throughout the cast. But before I go on, I just want to say that this video is endorsed by Smart Esports, SMRT, yes I know it's pronounced smart, which is my team, and by Troll Coin. Anyways, let's get to it. Ayane. Ayane is a very advanced character, so if you're in the process of learning Dead or Alive 6, or if you're new to Dead or Alive, I really highly don't recommend trying to learn the game with Ayane. I mean, I tried to learn the game with Ayane, and I just gave myself a massive headache doing it. So basically, what I'm recommending is learning the fundamentals of Dead or Alive first, with basically with a more straightforward character, for instance like Hitomi, and then go back to, once you're like fine with fundamentals, then go back and try and learn the game with Ayane, who has a lot of intricacies to her. I'll let you know that, in general, part of the thing that also makes Ayane challenging to play is that she's a very unsafe character. So a large aspect of playing Ayane is trying to find a way to play her safely. Luckily, she does have some ways to end up doing it. Like, she has some good pokes, but right now, I'll just go over Ayane's kind of general playstyle. Generally, what you want to do with Ayane is you either want to control space in general, like she has tools like that, like 3H+K, so down forward H+K, her KK's also like pretty good. Her back turn like 4H+K. Like she has a bunch of moves. Like 3P is also like really good. Like she has a bunch of pokes that she can kind of like use to like control space, and she also has stuff for people like run at her, like KK, well, a single K, H+K, like 4P. I mean, there's like a ton of stuff, and of course again at 3H+K that Ayane can use if an opponent that kind of rushes her. So essentially what you want to do is kind of like control space or kind of control your opponent's response. So generally, you're succeeding with Ayane if the opponent doesn't feel like they can do anything to you, or if the opponent just gets really impatient and they start like attacking recklessly, then that means you're succeeding with Ayane. How you know if you're not succeeding with Ayane is if you're the one who's being impatient and if you're the one who's being reckless. Like I'll tell you that she does have like a lot of stuff that can like be unsafe. Like for instance stuff like 66K KKK, 236K, 4H+K. Even though this move can have its usages if you can do it a bit like further out, like 3PP, 3PP. Like these are not necessarily bad moves in themselves, but if they get misused, then you can like get punished pretty hard. Like you see, you're pretty negative. But I'll just say like some go-to pokes now right now for Ayane. Stuff like her 2P is really good. It's 12 frames, goes like 1.47 or like 1.45, 1.47 meters, so it's like really good. Her jab is really good because it's 10 frames, but it sets up her back turn stance. It's only -1 in guard, so that's like pretty good. It's a neutral on hit. So her jab is really good. So what you can do is you can use it to, you can either jab at range, you could jab in close, and it's while it sets up her back turn, that means you can get access to like BackTurned PP, BackTurned 6K, BackTurned 1P, BackTurned 2P, and if the opponent's like ends up like running at you and anything, then you can smack him with BackTurned 6P. If this hits during stun or if the opponent or on counter hit, then it will launch the opponent like automatically. All right, so a kind of go-to I want you to kind of do with Ayane is poke with like 3K, 3KK, poke with like a 6P, 3P, 2P, or basically just kind of have the opponent come at you and like poke with like your K. So there's a bunch of things to do. In close, if you want to open up the opponent, aside from 2P, there's also like 2H+K is a good frame advantage low. 1P is a very good high crushing low. And again, once the opponent's like getting impatient in anything, or if you know they're gonna like do a high or something that could be like high crush, then 4P is really good. Like it can launch on counter hits. So, and also with regards to like crushes or anything, if you have a little bit of space, H+K, especially like on the opponent's like after a wake up, not necessarily a wake up kick, but after you knock down the opponent, then you can like use like 8 H+K, 8 H+K, 2K. So yeah, there's a bunch of things you do. In close, you can also use like PP6K, which has a follow up. Just the raw 6K is fine. P4P is good poke. It's a good high mid. You can also use that also from mid-range. And once you have the opponent locked up scared to do anything, then you could try to sneak in the 6-4T throw for a pretty big combo. Eliot. Eliot's another complex character that I basically don't really recommend you try to learn the game with. The main thing about Eliot is that he has a lot of long strings, where a big aspect of his gameplay is being able to kind of like manipulate those strings, but also for him that he also has some this move right here. I'm doing kind of just the raw version, but being able to do it freely in combos can be quite challenging. So what I want you to do with Eliot is that, especially if you're trying to learn the game, if you're new, I don't want it for you to just get too hung up on kind of execution related things. And also just kind of the way with how Eliot kind of operates. Like his standard strike speeds are not really like the fastest. His jab and 7P or his up back punch are good at 10 frames and 9 frames respectively, but his fastest mid's like what, like 14 frames. Well, full crouch 3P is 13 frames and his 2P is like 15 frames. So in close range you might get a little like kind of frustrated trying to like learn the game with them. I mean, yeah, he has his parries, like his like mid parry or high parries to help protect himself, but in general though, again, yeah, if you're trying to like learn Dead or Alive 6, I would probably recommend a bit more of a straightforward character than a considerably advanced Eliot. Generally what you want to do with Eliot is you do kind of want to avoid fighting in close range until you get a read on your opponent, because once you get in a read on your opponent, then you can start to either parry them with high parry, which is up forward H or 9H, or your mid parry. This is a down forward down forward in H or 3H. So these parries, of course, will catch all highs or mids. Unfortunately, there isn't a low parry. You'd have to use low hold. So in close range, all you really have is stuff like your parries or your stop sign, 7P. Anytime you want to like relieve pressure in close, this is basically your go-to. You see it's neutral on hit. On guard, it's completely safe. So it's like, basically you want to annoy the hell out of the opponent with this move. I mean, Eliot has a 9-frame high that beats out 9-frame jabs due to damage priority at 16. So this move is really good. But look, your go-to kind of mids though aren't really the fastest at 14 frames. Your 2P is also pretty bad at 15 frames, only a neutral on hit. But the low that you will be using with Eliot is his 2H+K. So this move right here, as you see right here, it launches on normal hit and sets up a bound with 3 PP really easily. Hell, 3 PP bounds on itself, which can easily like end up setting up like a break bowl like that for instance. So yeah, with Eliot, kind of go-tos to worry about. 7P, parries. If the opponent is leave themselves enough negative, then you could try to sneak in your mids. But in general, you can't challenge anyone's mids except maybe the super heavyweights or the heavyweight characters with their mids. So you're going to be having to rely on crushes or trying to make the correct reads. But 2H+K is just such a good move. Whether it's as a high crush, you can even use it as a bit of a poke from basically a bit further out, from like the tip around like mid or close range. What you want the opponent to do is really be mindful of the follow-up. It is possible to hold the follow-up on reaction. So sometimes you can just poke with this, but when you're certain you're going to high crush something, then you can usually get away with this. And as you see, this launches on normal hit, not just not on I mean, you don't have to worry about getting counter hits. So just anytime. This move will also, along with 7P, this move will also annoy the opponent. Alright, you can also kind of high crush with full crouch 3P, and you see it can launch also on it launches on counter hit or during stun. You see it gets a really good lift stun, but this move is unsafe on block, so yeah, so you can't really use it too freely. Because as you see, one of the things also that can make Eliot a bit advanced is because of his kind of slow speed on certain moves. You have to, again, like I said earlier, you have to kind of make reads with them. But if you do want to fight Eliot, I mean, like I said, I don't highly recommend being in your opponent's face too much, because then it's just going to be, because they're going to know you're going to be trying to either crush them or try and hit them 7P. So from mid-range, Eliot's neutral is like really good. I mean, like, this move right here, 6XP is like really good. I mean, it even leads to like 6XP has multiple like follow-ups. Like that was 6XP, 6P. So you can have multiple jab follow-ups right there. And the key is also to try and end, not in that move, but in this move right here. If you end like any of the strings with that move, see right there, you end up getting a +2 guard break. So I mean, trying to get down the timing on that is highly recommended. If you find yourself fighting close range with Eliot and the opponent has left themselves at some sort of disadvantage, then you can poke with like PP, 2P, or you could try and pressure with PP, 4-6P, just like so. After the opponent blocks the 4-6P part, then you can go for a throw. Then go for a juicy combo right afterwards. Hitomi. Hitomi is a solid beginner character, and she is one of the characters that I recommend that you try and learn Dead or Alive 6 with. The reason why is just because she is straightforward, she's to the point, and she's versatile. Hitomi can fight comfortably at any range. She can fight fighting close range. She's fine around mid-range, and at long range, she's no slouch also, and she has Death Fists. Alright, generally what I want you to do with Hitomi is work your way into close range, and just you can poke with PP, 2K, 6BK, 2K, all delayable, 6K, 2K, if you like an alternative, 6PK, or 6K, K, so like right there's like multiple stuff that you can kind of poke the opponent with. Alright, once you have the opponent on the defensive, then I want you to sneak in 6T, forward throw. This is a 7-frame throw, leaves you at +10. After this, I want you to follow up with 6H+K. If the opponent is expecting 6H+K after this, hit him with 3-3T. And if you want to do even more shenanigans, do it again. Alright, for your go-to low, use 2H+K. 19 frame low leaves you at +2 or +3. So it's still good. You can end up using your jabs after or your 6P after, no problem usually. If you'd like a high crush and low poke, 1P is going to be your go-to. Well, you also have 2P of course, but just 1P does more damage at 18 compared to like 5 damage. And your 2P is still okay though. I mean, you got a 12 frame elbow, so that's always nice. For another low poke, if you're a little further out, you can use 1K. This one has numerous delayable follow-ups because Hitomi has a lot of good delayable stuff. Let's see, 1K, 1K, 6P, 2K. Well, it's 1KP. I generally like the stuff off of 1K 6P. Like, there's even 1K 6PP, so I mean, that one, even just stop here. And the last hit, of course, is very delayable, so that's it's also really good. For low crushes, Hitomi is a really good well, she has a hop kick and she has like a nice jump and fail stun move. So her hop kick is 9K, 17 frames. You can like set up a small like juggle or something like that. And if you were to hit the opponent with 8H+K, so this is really good against obvious lows like a low wake up kick or something like that. And it does quite a bit of damage at 24 damage, so it can get pretty good priority if it connects on the same frame as a move. So with this, you get a guaranteed 3-3P, then you can bound the opponent for a nice break blow comp. And for your convenience, Hitomi has multiple guard break attacks, usually by holding down P at the end of most strings, even off her P string. Right here, and she has one that is not a P, which is 6H+K. This one is usually intended to be more of a meaty attack. It has long range, but it is really slow. Leaves you at +3. If you don't do the charges, you will leave yourself negative otherwise. If you use your charges too much, your opponent will try to mid-punch them, so sometimes you have to free cancel, and occasionally try and sneak them in. Or sometimes you even have alternatives like PP4, PPK, which is sick. Honoka. Honoka is yet another advanced character that I basically don't recommend you try to learn Dead or Alive 6 with. The thing about Honoka is two things, is that she has like quite a lot of like different kind of like stances. So right there, I mean, she even has like stances that can kind of like lead into stances. And I'll just give you a little heads up right now that Honoka suffers from T-Rex syndrome, so her range is kind of like stubby. Like her range is not really that good, so you have to get used to. Basically, you have to get used to the fact that during the neutral game, you're essentially going to have to utilize her good generic movement to try and get in close and try and sneak in that elbow. What I'd like you to do with Honoka is not really fight at range too much. I know that she technically does have range moves, like the Dragon Kick, best poke ever. Just kidding. But I mean, they're usually kind of slow and they're kind of, it can get a little too like telegraphed, like. Or in the case of like certain moves, they're like unsafe on block, like 6P+K. She does have some good stuff like 3H+K, which will be your go-to low crush. Like right here at 20 frames, it's a little slow, but this move is really good. It's an instant low crush and it ends up in crouching. So it jumps over lows really well, and it leaves you only at -3. So this is actually better than Hitomi's own version. It's just slightly shorter range, but yeah, Hitomi's enemy is like, well, rage. So, in close range, I want you to... Well, she is blessed with a 9-frame jab and an 11-frame elbow and a 13-frame 2P. I want you to use stuff like PPPK, leaves you at +1, which is really good. The nice thing about being at advantage when you're also really fast is you can basically now complete Honoka's objective. Honoka's objective in this game is to get the opponent hugged. This is forward throw. This is 60. It leaves you at +10. It's basically just like Hitomi's own 6T. Hell, the follow-up that you do after this, press H+K. It's the exact same follow-up as Hitomi's 6H+K. It's an 18-frame mid-kick that leaves you at -2. Same with Hitomi. Why do I recommend doing this move? It's tracking. The opponent cannot sidestep it. They cannot crouch it. You are at +10, so they can't try to counter hit you, or they will get counter hit. So the opponent has to basically no choice but to block this or try and hold it and parry it. And of course, if you suspect the opponent's gonna try and parry you, what do? You do it again. Or if you know they're gonna hold, then get that juicy 3-3T damage. And although Honoka ends up switching sides, I mean, yeah, that's Ayan's old 3-3T, so yeah, this move is really good for Honoka. So apart from like even like PPK, because a lot of the other stuff with Honoka, like something like, let's say PPK. So this is one of her stances. That's the crane stance, or I think it's called DHO stance, or Dokuritsu Ho stance. You're at -13. Even though you're in the stance, the opponent can just punch you out of it, or anything like that. There's also stuff like PP2K. If the opponent's standing block, then this is good, but if they crouch block it, you're at -9 and unsafe. So, and also, to top it off, a lot of stance transitions cannot be entered on block. Like this one is our Heishu stance. And if you press P+K, that there, when you see the hand on fire, that's our H and K stance. Alright, I meant this off the top of the head, that Hisatsu no Mai stance, I think it's called. Sorry if I end up butchered the stance name. I just call it H and K. I call it that Fire Fist stance. That is the level 2 stance which you go into after you've already entered into a stance. And to be able to set it up, you have to do it after hitting the opponent. So on block you can't do that. So like that's one of the difficulties you have with Honoka, is basically being able to like go into stances safely. Even like 3K, you go into the crane stance, but you're at -10. So when you're trying to go into stances with Honoka, you have to be really certain that you have to be really certain that you've done it on hit. So generally, a recommendation again is just try and keep it simple with jabs, and this is also what makes the 3T important. All right, let's see. All right, you also have like 2H+K for like a low guard break. But the main thing that you want with Honoka is you want this counter hit stun. Because after you end up getting a counter hit stun, then you can end up doing moves, for instance, that can go into stances to try and set up to end up setting up her H and K stance. And the H and K stance itself has numerous follow-ups. It's like the K option. There's even like her low launcher right there. And if you launch with the low launcher, then just do the air throw by pressing T, and you can end up just catching the opponent in the air for like just solid damage. Oh, if you find yourself fighting at mid-range with Honoka, then her 4K is really good. As you see right there, it's advantage around tip range. It's neutral in close, but if you do 4K down, or back kick down, or 4K2, then you'll be at even more advantage, and you go into the ducking stance, where you have different ducking options. Generally, ducking is good, of course, when you... It's okay, it's still pretty good on block, but it's even better when you actually do hit the opponent. Because then, right there, you can do the PP into the H and K stance. There's a kick option, and there's a P+K option, so that's a high punch launcher, and then you can just do the air throw for good go-to damage. Alright, just as a recap, with Honoka, I want you to do jab checks on the opponent's block. Your 9-frame jab is -1 on block, and of course, it has numerous follow-ups. You can do elbow checks. 6 PP is only -7 on block. I know a single elbow is more negative. And you can just fuzzy guard like that, 3-3H, and then you'll avoid guaranteed throw punishment. 6K is also really good. So yeah, you have well, there's technically a 6K, but that's unsafe. And 6K 2K is unsafe, but it's also a delayable low that is very sneaky. All right. But of course, more so than anything, what I want you to do with Honoka is get your opponent hugged. So after the hug, press H+K. If the opponent, because the opponent can only block or hold it. If they're expecting the H+K, then of course you could just throw them. But of course, when you get that counter hit elbow, you are in the driver's seat. Kasumi. Kasumi is a great character to learn Dead or Alive 6 with. Her complexity level is probably somewhat similar to Hitomi, if not maybe slightly higher. But the thing about Kasumi is that she's one of the more straightforward like ninjas to learn. Like Ayane, Hayabusa, like Hayate, Raido, those or Phase 4, those ninjas are all pretty challenging to both learn and to learn the game with. But Kasumi is like really good. She is a great, well-rounded character. Kasumi can fight comfortably from close range with her 9-frame jab or 12 or her 11-frame elbow, which is good. And she can fight comfortably from like mid-range. These are the two comfortable ranges for Kasumi. She can fight from long range also, but from long range, your focus is trying to get in. The move that you're going to use to get in is 3P+K. This is down 4P+K. This is Kasumi's Hoshimpo stance. This crouches under highs. Out of Hoshimpo's stance, you're going to be using your elbow as your go-to option. As you can see right there, it is safe on block, and it's a really fast high, which ends up basically, which can end up blasting the opponent across the room, which is good, or into stuff. So it's really hard to react to. The opponent has to react to the Hoshimpo stance transition and either duck or end up going for like a quick kind of like crush move. But you can also do other stuff out of Hoshimpo, such as like there's a knee option right there. That's the K option. You also have a throw option right there. So there's a couple things that the opponents have to watch out for. You can even jump over too. And if you want to get like cute, you could jump into a throw. Let's see, there's also a punch option right there. So I mean, yeah, see, you can get a little creative with like some like Kasumi stances. But for more like in general, you're gonna be using the elbow. Other moves you can use to get in, which can also be used for mid range, is 6-6P. This move right here, 6-6P elbow, gives you a +19 stun, so that means 3P follow-up or launcher right away. So both are fine. This move is negative on block at -15. That's because it has a good follow-up in 6-6PP. If you hold forward, so 6-6PP6, this goes into Hoshimpo stance, leaves you at +4. You can basically do like all the same options. Right there. I know, I mean, on paper, stuff like that is unsafe. You also can do Kasumi's new vertical teleport stance called, I think, Tenfu. So if you do 6-6PPP, then you get the punch option, 6-6PPK, you get the kick option. As you see right there, it's safe at -3. That's the same as using an alternative move to get into 6-6P, 6-6K. See right there, it's -11 on block, but if you do 6-6K and on hit K, right, not that one, that's the unsafe one, that's 6-6KK, but let's say KK, right there, now you're safe at -3. That is the same as the vertical teleport K, so you're -3, you're fully safe on block. You can try to abare, which means attack from disadvantage the opponent with your jabs or 2Ps, or try and like sidestep after. So -3 is not really bad for Kasumi. What you have to watch out for is that the opponent can sidestep the second part, and they can hold it with a mid kick. So you have to be careful if the opponents do try and do that. So that's where just simply doing 6-6K, for instance, becomes fine, because the opponent has to respect the follow-ups. All right, now in close range, what I want you to do with Kasumi is condition your opponent with different jab strings. So you have PP, PP6P, PP2K, PP6K, PPP, PPPK, which is like 3PK, which has a safe follow-up, same move, -5, and all these parts are delayable. And let's see, I'm not sure if I just said it, there's like PP2K, PP6P2K. These moves will be used as your mix-up, your alternative to PP6PK. PP6PK is safe on block, but it's block stand-in, so you want to chip out the opponent. PP6P2K, a very delayable track-in low. Same with 6PK, which is also your go-to track-in move, along with P+K or 6P, good track-in moves. So 6PK is track-in, safe on block. 6P2K is unsafe, but is a track-in low to chip out the opponent, to make sure that the opponent is watching their ankles. Alright, more so than anything, your objective with Kasumi is to try and get this. This is counter hit stun. 6P is your go-to counter hit stun move. See, this move here counter hits for plus 20, so that means free 3P. So you get you can do a 3P follow-up, or you can just launch right away. Like get a little like combo afterwards or like anything like that. So 6P is good. 3P is also good, which is the same as, it's pretty much the same as PPP. I mean, just slightly different of damage. 3P has high crush capabilities, and if you do it twice in a row, it'll launch. If you free cancel it, then you can go for the PP6P combo. Yeah, I just blasted Ayane down, so that's also good. From mid-range now, you could be poking with 3K or 4P. As you see right here, 4P gets that counter hit stun that you will like so much. 4P is a 12-frame high crushing mid-punch. This move is really good, so mid-range, 3K or 4P, good go-tos. 2K is okay. 1K is a bit better in close, but generally 4P or 3K is really good. But generally when you have... Alright, one more thing. If you want to go to normal hit stunner, or stun move, KK, or PKK are really good. I have it on counter hit right now. So most of these moves do not stun on normal hit. So PKK, this stuns on normal hit and gives you plus 19. Same thing, you can end up like doing you can end up getting your 3P extension, or you can launch right away. If you do launch with that launcher, which is a really good launcher, 3K, this move is safe on block. It's minus 11, but pushes back a lot. It's a jump in low crush. Yeah, it's a jump in high crush. So this move it crouches and jumps at different parts throughout the animation. So if you get hit, you cannot be comboed. You just basically fall over, then that's like kind of it. So this move is a really good go-to launcher, along with like 8K. 3P is okay, but is a little slower, and so this one you'll have to do 3P after let's say like a 3P for instance, as opposed to where you can launch right away with that. However, once you have the opponents blocking and everything, then you could go for a launcher throw combo. Alright guys, that's the end of part 1 of this quick tip character guide. Alright, once again I would like to thank Smart Esports and Trollcoin for endorsing this video. If you have any further questions, feel free to contact me on my YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, so that means leaving a very enlightening comment down below. You can also contact Force Nature on freestepdodge.com, and be sure to check out all 29 thus far of my character guides, and also all of my top tier tips advanced and beginner guides. If you'd like to support this channel, feel free to join Top Tier Fighters. The support does help, and I do appreciate it. Anyways, this is Force Nature signing off. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time on Top Tier Tips.